Next speaker is opening remarks. Then.
Bigay mo na lang yung isang mic.
Next time, wired na lang. The next speaker is Ambassador Encomienda. Ambassador Encomienda. Opening remarks of Ambassador.
Well, I would like to say that maybe express appreciation for Pandesal Forum for having this forum at this time. The timing is important because number one, we have a new administration coming on. It's just a week old. Number two, in another week or less, we will have the decision of the arbitral tribunal coming down. Now, these two are related in a way because we have a new government, it's true, but a lot of events affecting the country involves a relationship with a very important regional country that is China, and the role of the government, of course, need not be said. Very important. Now, for myself, I see what I like seeing with the new government administration is the pronouncement of President Duterte, starting with his inaugural speech, which was laden only with domestic issues. After all, at this point in our history, our big issues are domestic. On foreign relations, he said only one thing, that we will observe treaties and agreements. Well, that is a general statement, a motherhood statement, but it stopped there, and it was good, so as not to dilute the focus on the domestic issues. Now, during his first cabinet meeting, an hour after he was sworn into office, of course, what, as all of you saw and heard, what he did was, of course, to set the tone for his administration. And, okay, incidentally, let me go back a bit. When he, going back to the foreign policy pronouncement about observing all treaties and agreements with foreign countries, he stopped there, he did not continue with anything about the South China Sea issues. That was from good. But in the cabinet meeting, when, of course, it is inevitable that we will have to touch upon the South China Sea issues, it is very encouraging to hear the main points that he said. Number one, let us observe silence. Let me put it this way for myself. The last 3 years, the atmosphere has been very much poisoned by public domain, public diplomacy on both sides. But especially, I'm sorry to use the previous government about this, but to me it's a fact. The loudest of this toxic public diplomacy came from the Philippines. Now, President Duterte said, observe silence. After all, it's just about 5 days, 6 days to go before the next big event having to do with the South China Sea issues comes about, which is the arbitration ruling. Then observe silence, and then we wait for the arbitration and results. Then when it comes down, what do? Even for those who think that it is a foregone conclusion that we will win the arbitration, Duterte said we review. I mean, it is a new administration, you know. Even if this new administration, if this administration were a continuation of the old one, you cannot avoid a review at this time. Otherwise, the implication is we will continue with another 6 years of failed diplomacy and failed relations regionally, you know. Now, so President Duterte said review. And after review, that is when we decide what will be future steps with China. And end of the story for him. He set the tone in a very nice way, and it can only mean, I think for myself, that this can only mean that better things is going to come after arbitration. Now, Mike, I want to make a comment about this forum happening at this time, because I think it is also important for us to set our attitudes and tone in preparation for the ruling of the arbitral tribunal. My first issue is the common acceptance of the government line that we will win the arbitration. I don't know. I'm a lawyer. I've been exposed to international law and decisions of international tribunals. It's part of determining international law. But these arbitrators are top-class professionals. You will never be able to get anything from them, unless, of course, you have listening devices in there. You will not be able to get anything from them. But the way the Philippines and the United States have been given the spin, we will win the arbitration. The point is, my first point is, the matter before the arbitration is not a true or false or yes or no answer. That at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, we say the answer is yes for the Philippines, everything waits, we start blowing balloons. No, those are very complicated issues. If you ask me, there must be some nuance here that the decision is coming out very early. If you look at the history of international arbitration that we cite events closer to home, the Piedra Branca case between Singapore and Malaysia, it involved only one rock, and the issue was bilateral, and there was a lighthouse. It took 3.5 years to settle that issue. Sipadan and ligitan between, of course this is International Court of Justice, Sipadan and ligitan cases between Indonesia and Malaysia, again bilateral, involving small islands. It took 3.5 years. And more than that, there was not any discussion within the court on whether they have jurisdiction over the case or not. In the cases of Sipadan and Ligitan and Piedra Branca, it's straightforward. The two countries agreed to refer it to the ICJ, and the ICJ has jurisdiction. In the case of this, our arbitration before the court itself has to determine under UNCLOS and their own rules of arbitration. The court has first to determine whether it has a jurisdiction or not. And how long did it take for the court to decide it has on the jurisdictional aspect? It took more than 1 year. And at that, we had 15 points in which we insisted that the court has arbitration as competence, and the court came out with a definite decision on 7. That means the rest of the 8 is melded into the merits, as we call it. Now, but it is taking only 1.5 years for the court to come out on the matter of the merits, That's one thing on the matter of complexity of the case itself as handled by an international tribunal. The second thing, which has also to do with complexity of the case, has to do with the submission of the Philippines to the arbitral tribunal. At the outset, they say it's a sovereignty issue, but it's ours is ours. But when we file this case before tribunal, it's not sovereignty. Simply because if we look for a sovereignty resolution, you cannot go to you cannot invoke arbitration under UNCLOS. If you will have to go to ICJ. And if you go to ICJ, you cannot get jurisdiction because China will not agree to it. This is true. So,